Hello, 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 everyone. Dr. Victoria here. I have you all in front of me, and I actually have my Instagram audience to the left of me. We are defying the odds of technology and actually coming together and really sharing important things today. I just want to say how excited I am to be here and how important it is to be here. And I want to thank Pessy for giving me the opportunity to actually come and contribute because in light of a lot of the things that have been going on in our neighborhoods, things that have been going on in the country, specifically the shooting that currently occurred in Nashville just a few days ago, it's so important that we come together and have this conversation about how to support one another, how to support ourselves. So, the opportunity to be here and share some tips for you, therapists, and for parents that are out there, therapists that are actually working with parents and working with kids, is my pleasure and also just has me feel just so filled up. So, just a little bit about me. I'm Dr. Victoria Grinman. I reside here in New York, and I am someone who supports people in really getting real with their lives. I have been working with Pessy for many, many years now, supporting therapists through this platform, topics such as complex trauma, treating traumatic stress using yoga and mindfulness and somatic interventions, and parent engagement, really being able to engage parents in an empowered way. So, the opportunity to be here and actually talk about how to support people through this tragedy is just amazing. So, let's get into it. I want to share with you some of the tips that I provide to the parents that I work with. And while I share them with you, I also want to say that I think about myself when I'm sharing these tips because I'm also impacted, right? Just last night, so you know, we held a group for parents and some professionals actually came to really just share how things are going and what it is that we're feeling about the recent news and how we can support the people in our lives, including children and people that we work with. And it was wonderful to see a community of us just get together because the opportunity was provided. So, one of the things that I want to start off with is saying it does not matter if your parents that you're working with are not counselors. It doesn't matter if they're not therapists. It doesn't matter what they do for a living or what kind of skills they have. If you have a voice and you have a heart and you have something to say and you want to bring people together, this is the time to encourage parents to really get together with their friends, with their communities, with the schools, and start having, if they're not already having, conversations about all of the things that are going on in their children's schools, in their children's lives. How can they all support one another? Okay, so these conversations are really important, and it doesn't take a professional to facilitate them. It just takes someone with a curious mind and an open heart and an awareness to really do so. So let's get into some tips that I have right here, and I'm really, really excited to share them. So, first and foremost, what I always share with parents is the importance of having and establishing a variety of ways of speaking with your child. I notice that a lot of the parents that I work with, when it comes to a serious situation, they are all serious. Their mode is serious. And children are sometimes struck by that because a serious conversation brings about many, many feelings. So, having hard conversations with kids about what they know and don't know, what they're aware of and not aware of when it comes to difficult news, difficult situations that occur, um, it's really important to have a variety in the way that you communicate with kids. And so I always remind parents it's okay to infuse your conversations with some lightness. It's okay to come to these conversations and start your day with some humor. It's okay to continue your life while also holding space for some of the things that are going on in the world because children require that. Children require a variety in our relationship with them in order to really listen and to be connected, right? So, really making sure that we have a variety in that relationship with kids. Number two, so important not to ignore. I've got parents sometimes asking me, do I even say anything to my child? I don't even know what my child knows. Are they going to come home from school and tell me that they know something? What do I say? So I always say, don't ignore. right? The possibility of your child finding out about something through school or through friends is huge. Why? Because there's social media, we are all connected through electronics, and children talk. I think it would be ignorant, right, and unrealistic to think that children would not find out about certain things, especially if they're in that age group where they're all connected socially, social media wise to one another. So don't ignore the topic. But does that mean that parents have to jump down their children's throats with all sorts of information? No. So I'm going to get into some tips that I have for parents that you therapists can actually share with them that can make things a little bit more easygoing. So, first and foremost, I always say to parents, think about what it is that you want to share with your child. Here, I like to think about what age is the child. And even if a child is a certain age, what's age appropriate developmentally for them, right? We can have an 8-year-old who really has a 5-year-old sort of mindset. We can have a 13-year-old that's really ready to hear about other things. So making sure that you have your child in mind and thinking, what are the things that I actually want them to know about? I think that for a parent who's already coming to this conversation feeling anxious, oftentimes feeling hopeless, having their own feelings about the situation and the state of what's going on, the dialectic that they hold of sending a child to school that's supposed to be safe, but then feeling as if it's not safe, right? Can be really, really difficult. And now you have to explain that or share that with a child. All of that is all encompassing. So you want to think about what is it that you actually want to share, because it creates a little bit of a container for what it is you want to share with your child, and it takes a little bit of that pressure off. Okay, so what are the facts? What is the information? What is the verbiage that you want to use, right? What is the verbiage that the parent wants to use? And really preparing yourself for that is really important. I also love to let parents know, listen, actively listen to what it is your child already knows and is already curious about. So many times kids have questions, but we don't listen long enough to know what their actual questions are. So I always say, listen, say to a child, hey, how was your day today? Right? And dig a little bit deeper and say, is there anything that you talked about at lunch? Did anything come up in social studies or in current events today? Right? Ask really curious questions and allow them to really respond to you, and allow your child to lead the conversation. Because many of the times we have stories in our mind about what our child wants to talk about, but actually they've got something else going on. So follow your child's lead. Learn to listen actively by asking really good questions and allowing your child to share with you what it is they want you to respond to. That is something that I think takes a lot of pressure off parents once they learn how to actually do this. And you, as a therapist, can certainly support them. The other thing that I want to always share with parents that are anxious about their own feelings, they say, what if I break down in front of my child? What if I start to, hiccup and not know what to say? What if they ask me about something and I have my own feelings about it? What do I do? You are human. We are all human. And what a beautiful thing to model to a child that you have feelings too. I think this is one of the most important things to share with parents, is that there is nothing the matter. There is nothing wrong with letting your child know that you have strong feelings about something so significant that has occurred in the country, in the world, right? And I think that with that comes another question. What happens if my child brings something up and we're like online to the bus to go to school and we have no time to get into it? What do I do? What do I do? And you, as the therapist, is sitting there thinking, oh my God, what do I say to this parent? So it's important to remember this is an important conversation. And that parent can take a deep breath, center themselves, and let their child know, you know what? This is a really important question. This is a really significant conversation. And let's talk about it when you come home from school after you've had your snack, because I don't want to rush the conversation. We really should talk about it, right? And then the child would usually say, okay, right? And then when they come home, you can have that conversation. And you can let parents know that what this models is how important the conversation is, and that we're not going to rush it just because your child finally asked about it. And I think for parents, this is such an anxiety because they think, well, what if the question comes not in an inopportune time? What if it's not during snack time or not during bedtime when we can actually talk? And that's okay. We can empower parents to actually take the lead and lead the conversation to a place where it is a little bit more comfortable, that there is a little bit more freedom to connect meaningfully and in an intentional way. The other thing that I always offer is to tell the truth. Tell kids the truth about things and find ways, depending on who your child is and who you are and what your dynamic with them is, right? Thinking about how old they are, their developmental stage, right? How much they can actually hold, and tell them the truth using verbiage that right, is fitting for them about what's happened. Lots of times kids will ask questions and they want to know the truth. And we as adults, specifically parents, often become very, very anxious and worried about how much they should share. And that's why it's important to, one, ask, what do they already know? And then create a little bit of context around that and give them a little bit of information based on what they've asked, right? We don't want to go over what they've asked and we don't want to keep things from them, but we want to find a way to share the information in an honest way because guess what? They're going to learn it anyway. I also want to say, always reassure children, right? I always say to parents, what your child really wants is to know two things, okay? And those two things are actually the basis of a secure relationship anyway. Number one, they want to know that they exist. They want to know that you see them and they want to know that you hear them, right? If we're ignoring the situation, we're ignoring the questions, right? We're not really seeing what's going on for them. I had a parent say to me, my child asked me something, and I just kind of hurried them along and said, okay, it's dinner time, because I didn't know what to say. And the parent knew that there was something about this that just didn't feel aligned. So, what you can offer to a parent that is in that moment, stop and acknowledge what your child has just said. And if you don't know how to respond because it's so jarring, you can say, you know what, this is such a big question. I need a moment to just gather all my information and we'll talk about it, right? Or you can answer the question that your child has in an honest way. And I don't know is always an okay response. Lots of parents think, and we think as adults, we need to have all the answers, right? Why did the person shoot those children and teachers? Why did that person do that, right? Why, dad? Why did that happen? What made them want to do that? And I don't know the answer to that. You don't know the answer to that. We have hypotheses and assumptions, and we feel and we have stories about that. But the answer, if it's I don't know, is okay. And I think that when we allow parents to really claim and we give them the permission, we like really literally give them the permission slip to say, I don't know, and to be with children in the I don't know, doesn't scare children. It helps them feel seen. And then, secondly, in addition to helping them feel seen, children want to know that they're safe with you and letting them know that right here, right now, with me, together, we are safe. And I will always do whatever I can to keep you safe. And reassuring children of that and really believing it, believing that when your child is with you, they are safe and that you are doing everything possible to keep them not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally secure is the truth, right? So letting children know that is really important. Okay. And lastly, what I want to say is this: children will feel you, and children listen to who you're being and not what you're saying. So if you are feeling anxious, if you are feeling worried, if you are feeling concerned, if you are feeling, afraid, children will know it. So the part about letting children know what you feel and that being important is really, really significant because children will see who you be and they will not hear your words. So empowering parents to just be present and be authentic and be real with their children not only takes the pressure off of them, but it also gives them the opportunity to establish a relationship with their child built on authenticity. That way, when a child sees that their parent is struggling because of such a significant incident, right? If a parent tells a child, of course, it bothers me that this happened, right? You're my child and you go to school every day. And I think about your safety every minute, right? When the child sees that what the parent is saying matches what they are feeling, the parent is feeling, it creates a sense of confidence in the child that they're reading the situation correctly. And it also creates a sense of security that they can trust their parent and themselves to be in this very important conversation. I want to end this by saying thank you again to PESI for the opportunity to not only acknowledge such significant events, but to also provide opportunity for such conversation among professionals that are day in and day out, creating the space for others to really have some of these really hard conversations. And I want to encourage everyone to empower the parents in our lives to have these conversations among their friends, their family members, and most of all, their family members, because change truly starts in your home. Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Dr. Victoria Grinman, and you can find me on victoriagrinman.com. And if you find any way that I can support you, please do reach out. And if you find yourself really looking to want to understand how to engage parents in the work, you can also check out my offering through PESI, which is really on the art of parent engagement. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful and peaceful day.